Starting in August 2026, almost nobody is going to be allowed to take the LSAT from home. In other words, remote at home testing as a general option is ending. And so the question people are already asking is this: are students going to try to use medical accommodations just to stay remote? Because if in person becomes the secure default and remote testing only exists through documented medical exemptions or extreme hardship, will that create pressure on the accommodation system? So I want to break this down carefully here because this is all about incentives and legal constraints and institutional trust and long term signaling. Of course, LSAC did not end remote testing randomly. They cited organized misconduct, in other words, cheating, that included proxy test taking and the real time theft of unreleased LSAT content. Because the thing most people don't know is that most LSAT sections are not publicly released. They are expensive to develop, they are pre tested, and they are reused by LSAC strategically. And if that unreleased material gets captured and circulated, it doesn't just affect one test date, it contaminates future LSAT administrations. And once law schools begin questioning the reliability of top LSAT scores, the entire signaling power of the LSAT is weakened because the LSAT is not just a test, it is a signaling instrument. And if trust weakens, the signal weakens. And there's another layer here that most people aren't thinking about. Law schools' incentives are aligned with this move. Law schools rely heavily on LSAT medians for rankings. They use LSAT scores to allocate scholarship money. They use LSAT scores to compare applicants across different undergraduate institutions and different grading systems. And so, if confidence in the integrity of the LSAT weakens, law schools are using the most valuable standardized comparison tool they have. So this creates uncertainty in admissions decisions. It complicates scholarship modeling. It introduces reputational risk. So, from a law school's perspective, stronger security is a necessity. It is protection of the biggest metric they use to make their decisions. Law schools, like LSAC, they benefit when the LSAT is seen as clean, controlled, and defensible, which means there's very little institutional pressure on LSAC to loosen scrutiny of the LSAT to go back to remote testing. If anything, the pressure runs in the opposite direction because remote testing created the structural vulnerability that led to the LSAT cheating scandal in the first place.